The rain poured in relentless sheets, hammering against the office windows, as if mirroring the storm inside Jason's chest. His hands shook, not from the cold, but from the constant pressure of deadlines, the mounting responsibilities of raising his daughter alone, and the impossible perfection his boss, Miranda, demanded of him every single day. Every morning, he braced himself for her sharp words, the roll of her eyes, and the subtle dismissals that made him feel invisible despite his relentless dedication. Jason had always been proud, independent, a man who would shoulder his burdens quietly, but Miranda's presence pierced every ounce of his composure, turning his work life into a maze of stress and silent resentment. Yet he couldn't quit, he needed the paycheck for Emma, his 8-year-old daughter, whose laughter at home was the only light in his otherwise exhausting days. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of love finding its way in the most unexpected places, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Rip Pele of Kindness. The tension at work was suffocating. Miranda, young, ambitious, and stunningly poised at 32, ran the office like a tight ship. Her presence alone was enough to make Jason's pulse spike. She didn't just critique his work, she dissected it with a precision that cut deeper than any sword, often pointing out flaws in front of colleagues, leaving Jason red-faced and simmering with frustration. Yet, beneath that icy exterior, there was something he couldn't quite name, that made him watch her with a mix of admiration and exasperation. He hated how she affected him, and he hated even more that he couldn't stop thinking about her, even on the nights he spent exhausted and lonely after putting Emma to bed. Life outside the office was a different battlefield. Jason's apartment, small and modest, was filled with the warmth of Emma's love, the smell of home-cooked meals, and the noise of a child's innocence that he cherished above all else. But every time he left her side to face Miranda, a pit formed in his stomach. He wasn't sure if it was fear, irritation, or the strange, unwanted pull of attraction that made him feel simultaneously alive and vulnerable. Every email, every meeting, every sharp comment chipped away at his patience, yet he endured it all for the smile that greeted him at home, for the tiny hand that held his at night, for the whispered, "I love you, Daddy," that made every hardship worth it. One rainy Thursday evening, the office was emptying faster than usual. Jason stayed behind to finish a critical report, and Miranda appeared at his desk, her heels clicking softly against the polished floor. He braced himself for criticism, expecting another night of verbal assaults. But instead, she looked tired, her usually pristine appearance slightly disheveled, and there was a vulnerability in her eyes he had never seen before. She asked for his help, not professionally, but personally, confessing that she was struggling with a situation in her own life, a family matter she could not manage alone. Jason felt a strange, cautious tenderness as he listened, realizing that behind her sharp exterior, Miranda was human, fragile, and painfully alone in ways he had never imagined. Days turned into weeks, and the interactions between them shifted. The fiery arguments and biting remarks slowly softened, replaced by a tentative understanding. Jason noticed the smallest gestures, the way Miranda waited for him to leave the elevator first, the subtle gratitude in her eyes when he stayed late to support her initiatives, the quiet smiles shared over coffee breaks. He still felt the frustration, the longing, the confusion, but there was a new rhythm emerging, one where their walls began to crumble, revealing emotions neither of them had dared to acknowledge. Then, one evening, the storm outside mirrored the storm inside Jason's heart. The office was empty, the city's lights shimmered through the rain-streaked windows, and the tension that had always simmered between them reached a breaking point. Miranda approached him, her steps hesitant but deliberate, and for a moment, all the frustration, all the resentment, all the unspoken feelings hung between them like a tangible thread. And then, without a word, she kissed him, softly, urgently, unexpectedly. Time seemed to freeze. Jason's mind reeled, his body stunned, and yet, a warmth he had never allowed himself to feel spread through him. In that single moment, everything changed. The bitterness that had defined their relationship melted into something new, something tender, human, and full of possibility. Life after that kiss was different, but not magically easy. They still had challenges, still had responsibilities, still had fears, but now they faced them together. Jason found himself laughing again at work, the weight of stress slightly lighter because he no longer bore it alone. Miranda revealed her own vulnerabilities, shared her fears, and let him in, and Jason realized that the woman who had once driven him crazy was now his partner in every sense. And at home, Emma noticed the change too. Her father's smile was brighter, and the warmth of new beginnings filled their modest apartment with a sense of hope and joy that Jason had feared he might never feel again. It wasn't just romance, it was transformation. Jason understood that love often arrives disguised as hardship, that the people who challenge us the most can also be the ones who teach us resilience, compassion, and trust. Miranda had shown him that vulnerability is not weakness, and he had shown her that strength is not about control but about connection. Together, they built a fragile, beautiful harmony, one that promised second chances, unexpected joy, and the quiet miracle of finding love where it seemed impossible. If this story touched your heart, please engage with the video, like, comment, and share it so that more people can feel the warmth of hope and the power of second chances. Don't forget to leave a comment about the moment that moved you the most. Your thoughts could inspire someone else today. In the end, Jason held Emma in his arms, feeling the steady rhythm of her heartbeat, and for the first time in years, he felt complete. Life would still bring challenges, but he had discovered something infinitely precious: the courage to love, the patience to forgive, and the magic that happens when hearts are open, even after the storm.